Chaz Large here with another Fix It video for you, and on the bench today we can see we've got a BLUE microphone. This is a very popular microphone, USB based microphone. It's used a lot by people for podcasts, and I know it's used by local radio stations as well because it's very useful. Picked this one up fairly cheaply off eBay because it was in a faulty condition. I thought, let's fix it, see if we can make it work, and maybe make use of it, possibly, or even sell it on. Anyway, first off, the knob's missing off the front, also the bracket that it stands on, and there's no cables. This is exactly how it came. The fault that I'm told is with it, and is fairly obvious, is the USB socket on the bottom is actually broken. In fact, you can't really see much of the connections at all, so chances are we'll have to replace that. So I've fixed a couple of these before, but the later versions where it had a USB socket in the back, where it was a USB B socket. That's the square one, isn't it? The one that usually goes with printers, but this one's got a mini USB socket, so I'm not sure what the period of time that this was produced in. Anyway, let's see if we can get it apart. I'm pretty sure that it comes apart. There's this ring at the top and the screws, but I might be wrong. I'm not going to try turning the thingy there. Nope. Maybe I'm going to have to do some research possibly on this because there's no obvious screws. Right, done a little bit of research, and the way that this is put together, there are two screws under this label here and another one under the rubber. We undo those and everything comes out that end. Also managed to get one of these off. I got some soft cloth and folded it several times to make a bit of a barrier to damage, and then use my good old mole grips to get hold of that without doing too much damage, and just pull. The other one came off relatively easy after I did this, so let's try again. There we go. Whew. And luckily no damage to that. Now apparently the button has to come off as well, so that one hopefully should come off relatively easily. It's not such a force fit, so I can use the pliers on that one. Oh no, does that come off or not? I'm just looking on the inside. It's a button attached to plastic. It should come off. It's got to come off for the whole lot to come out, and it does. Right. Now, has it come off evenly, or has it broken anything? You can't get the button out. Not sure about that. I think, right, I'm going to push it inside. Well, leave it like that for now. Leave it like that. Right. So let's get this label out. So first off, see if we can just get it with a pair of tweezers. This rubber. A sharp point. Yep, so there's one. Put that into a little tray, and now this label here, I might be able to get it off with a spudger. I don't want to rip it off or damage it, because I want to put it back on again afterwards, because makes sense. Now hopefully I can just ease that label round enough to just get at the screws. There we go. And I don't have to take it off completely. So one. So I just want to say a big thank you to the chap who sold me this. He was, when I bought it online, he contacted me and said, "Are you sure you know what you're buying, because this is faulty?" To which I told him that I was indeed, because I'm a repairer and I do this sort of thing. And he said, "Oh, good," and I pointed into my channel, and so hopefully he's subscribed. So welcome to the channel, and welcome to everybody else who's maybe just joined and subscribed to the channel. We've had quite an influx. We're up to 900 something now subscribers. Pretty soon we'll be hitting the old 1000 mark, and that'll be a bit of a celebration for you. Right, so there is our broken socket. Sorry, I'm taking it out of camera. So there's the broken socket. The metalwork has all come apart. All the pins are broken, so we need to remove that. But before we do that, we need to make sure we've got a replacement socket. I've got a little box here of USB sockets. And have I got one of the right type? I think I have. So I want one with 3 pins, and this one and these are all ones that are surface mounting. That's the one that I replaced on another one of these. It was the square type, and that mounted somewhere else on the circuit. So when I did that, I bought a second one just in case I needed it. Now, as I said, these sockets are all surface mounted. This one is got legs. So can I do a swap? Will that go in there? Not really. It would be a little bit of work to replace that. Just double check I haven't got any with pins. I think I had to do a repair and I had to replace 2 sockets, so I bought a pack of 10 or something. And they're micro USB, so they're no good. Right, so at the moment I haven't got a socket, but I've got lots of bits of junk with sockets on, certainly with old mini USB. So I'm going to have a look in my little junk box and see if I can find something with a similar socket. So bear with me a second. Oh, look at my hair. Oh, it's all gone frizzy. Back in a bit. Right, well, after searching loads of boxes, and I've had a bit of a review of my storage system lately, and I've put everything in boxes, so I knew where to look. Gone through dozens of bits and pieces, all bits of junk that I've acquired over the years. I thought, oh, that'll come in handy, this will come in handy, I might get a spare part off that sort of thing. Everything's got micro USB. There's hardly anything with mini USB. And the 3 items that I found with mini USB were all the same type of socket as this one here, which is a flat rather than you know, surface mounted rather than a standoff type. So what I'm going to try and do, because I've got loads of these sockets, that's the wrong one, because I've got loads of these sockets in my little pot, I thought, well, let's risk taking this one apart and seeing if I can swap the metalwork for that one, because even if I just bend the legs on that, let me go to the other close-up camera so you can see better. That one's got standoff legs and that one's just got surface mount legs, so even if I bent those surface mount legs up, they wouldn't fit. But hopefully I should be able to just prise apart the metalwork of this one, so I can take the inner connector out. So I've got to put the old close-up specs on so I can see what I'm doing, so forgive my shiny head. So we'll first off get some pliers and we'll just break open this edge connector here. not the edge connector, what am I talking about, the actual metal work there, and see if that will come out of its frame, which I'm hoping it will. And looking at the side of it, you can see there is a slot. Get that in focus, come on. You can see there's a slot there, so you can actually see that the connector itself should come out of there. So I'm just going to twist it open a little bit more. Now the one thing I may have to do is to effectively, there it is, that's interesting, looking at that connector and that one, that doesn't look quite the same. I know, I'm sure it is. Yeah, what's happened is is the actual socket bit. Sorry. Looking at the original connector, you can see the actual plastic bit at the end, that's all been broken off, so we'll have to take that out. So let's turn this down here so we can work on it a little bit more centrally and try and keep myself in camera while I'm doing it, so you can see what I'm doing. So I'm basically pulling this metal work apart so that I can prise out the actual connector. Let's see if we can get maybe a spudger in here. Right, so we've got that out. Now will that fit into there? Well, that's still got a bit of the old connector stuck in there, bits of plastic. On the other side. Right, so it looks like we've managed to get that into there. I'm just going to stand it on its end for a minute and just push down this metal work. Perhaps pushing it down is a little bit harsh. Need a bigger pair of pliers to get the right grip. There. Okay, so we've successfully transplanted the actual body of the socket into there. What we need is a cable, which I think I've got a test cable. So let's just see, will that plug into there? Yes, it will. Look at that. Beautiful. So now what we've got to do is to take the old circuit board off of here. Now I treated myself to something quite useful the other day, and I've only had 2 chances to use it, and that's one of these multi-hand tools. I've got the usual helping hands, but this one has got such big flexibles. It's actually got 5 arms, but it's bigger and it can hold bigger devices. So hopefully, if I can get this in the right place, it can hold this microphone whilst I work on the circuit board. I've just got to remember which side I'm working on. Here it is. Get that one down there as well. Flatten that like that. Good. Then we've got a good solid base. The soldering iron's nice and warm. And I think I'm just going to desolder it with solder flux. I'll put a fine tip on this because I'm going to have to do some work on the other end, so let's just add some fresh solder to these points on here. That'll just make taking them off that much easier in a minute or two. So let's get some fresh solder blade. Tell you what we might do, might make life a little bit easier. We just snip off the excess of these connectors underneath because we don't need them. Right, we'll just do a little bit of desoldering on this side as well. Just need a little piece of wire, a little trail offcuts. Always useful to have a nice bit of offcut from a bit of wire that you've cut off. That's a bit too big. Or a component leg or something when you fit in a component leg. Keep a bit of wire. And you can use it to clear holes as you need to. That one's clear. Just try desoldering it once more on the other side. Oops. Crop clips come out of the plug. Yeah, still got a little bit of bits of wire hanging on there. Testing. That one's free. That one's free. Free. So all the wires are free, which is great. Now then, will this, let's get the other camera up close and personal. Right, that looks okay, so hopefully you can see that. So the legs should fit fine, but how well do the pins fit? with that being pressed down, certainly the two, I think we might just get away with that, you know. So I think what I've got to do is I've just got to solder the big lugs in first. And I'm going to just hold that temporarily with my big pliers because it's going to get hot. Okay, so I think we're in. Okay, so far so good. Got the four corners soldered in as well as can be expected. Now hopefully I can just tease that connector over to there. And with a bit of luck, soldering it from underneath should be sufficient for the solder to flow down through to the legs. But we can test it a bit later with a continuity tester. I'm not sure this is actually going to flow all the way through, but so do that side, turn it over and have a look. You can see some of the connectors have got solder on. But some of them haven't, so I'm going to have to go in with my fine point and just solder in there. So apologies again if this is going to keep going in and out of focus. So here we go with the fine soldering. That was okay. That one down there I can't get at. It looks like I've blobbed it all together, but I did that deliberately So get some solder into the back end of that. And hopefully this will take out the excess. I think those two are joined together anyway, if my memory serves me right. I'm not sure. Right. Yeah, it's cleared the short I made. So, let's just get my continuity test up, make sure I've got no shorts that shouldn't be there. Those two are shorted, but I think they are connected anyway. Yeah, that circuit there and these two connectors, those two are connected anyway. Just give it a quick little clean off with some ISO. Give a little pump working. What I'll do is I'll just put a drop more solder on these legs. I think probably irrelevant, but it just makes them look nice, doesn't it? Okay, so right. One of the things that I bought some time ago was a kit of plugs and sockets. So in here I have got a socket which I can just use for testing. So that lead into there makes a good solid connection, and plug it onto there. Ah, there we are. Those two are connected together, aren't they? What's that? Right, I think it's time for a test. So how can we demonstrate this to you? Well, why don't we bring up Device Manager. So what we should find, one of two things will happen. If this is working or not, it will either refresh and work, or the recording will stop abruptly because it's shorted something out. We got a bibbly bibbly. Didn't see a an off switch to this. Pattern. Oh well, we've got a red light on the back, on the front rather. That's good. Now let's add audio source. Oh, device is ready. Blue microphone is set up and ready to go. Brilliant. Audio input capture. Create new. And microphone. Webcam streaming. Yeti microphone. There we go. And there's the Yeti microphone working. So let me turn off the ordinary microphone. Right, so we're now using purely the Yeti microphone, and that is the level of volume. Oh, that's I think that's the output volume. If I press the mute, so that should stop now. Right, let's switch the other microphone back on. Switch the Yeti off like that and disconnect it. 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. Yep, I can definitely hear myself talking through this, and the volume is going up and down nicely. And the gain control seems to be working as well. Oh, I don't know if that's. We could switch back onto here. I think all the functionality of this microphone is working. All I've got to do now is put it back together and find a replacement knob. So let's do that. I'll probably whiz through this bit on high speed, so you can skip forward if you want to the end. Anyway, if you've already finished and you're happy seeing what I've done, thanks very much for watching. Carry on, it's up to you. Hope you've enjoyed this little trip into a Blue Yeti microphone repair. I'm quite pleased with the way it's worked. Could have ordered the dedicated socket for it, but as it happens, managed to make one fit. There's always possibilities. Good old Mr. Spock, he always said there's always possibilities, and I firmly believe that mantra. So live long and prosper.